Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Pop Culture Roundup, a podcast where we round up the latest news and talk all things pop culture. I'm your host, Brandon, joined with my other hosts, Andrew.
What's up?
And Casey.
What's going on?
Yet another episode where, sadly, Anthony cannot be joining us. However, we are recording on May 4th, so let's get right into it.
All right, everyone. May the 4th be with all of you. I know by the time you're hearing this, May 4th is already passed, but when is Star Wars not a great thing to talk about? And that is certainly what we're going to be talking about here today. But before we get started, we do have a special shout out. You may have noticed we got a little bit of a change in our look. Casey, you want to take it away?
Yeah, we have once again another shout out to give to our good friend Jonah, who designed a new logo, which looks absolutely amazing. So shout out to him. He does great work. So if you want to see more of his amazing work, give him a follow at Jonah Park Music on Instagram. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a link in the description to his account. So go check him out.
Excellent. We just cannot give enough praise to Jonah here. We love his work. You're a great friend, Jonah. Thank you for doing all this. You've really helped us all come together. Now, speaking of things coming together, it was announced just a little bit ago that Sony and Discord are partnering. Originally, this deal was going to be between Microsoft and Discord, but that fell through, and clearly Sony swept in. This deal doesn't take effect until early 2022, and we don't exactly know what this will entail, but I'm sure it's a very safe bet that we're going to get some Discord integration for definitely the PlayStation 5 and maybe possibly the PlayStation 4. We'll see. I'm excited for this. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I think it's been a long time coming.
My personal opinion, I just want to see where they take us. Like, what changes are going to be made? What are they, well, what's the point of buying it? What are they going to do? Et cetera, et cetera. We just don't know any of those details or anything like that. So that's my only, I don't want to say gripe, but that's what I want to know.
Right, I see where you're coming from. The only thing that I kind of hope happens is, I'm gonna be real. I like to send pictures and videos to you guys over Discord and whatnot, and sometimes those pictures and videos exceed the data cap, and you have to buy Nitro. I'm kind of hoping that this deal maybe does away with Nitro. It's probably not, but one can hope. Next up, we have a few trailers to go over. So earlier this week, we got a trailer for Pixar's new movie, Luca, which is about two sea monsters who, when on land, look like normal humans. It appears to take place in Italy, and the movie comes out on June 18th. That's going to be getting a Disney Plus release at no additional charge, if I'm remembering correctly. What'd you guys think of the trailer?
It's definitely looks very interesting. I think it's an excellent topic. I think it's going to provide with a excellent movie. It's Pixar. I mean, what else? It is definitely interesting. But I'm excited to see where they take it, and I think it's going to be a fun, definitely kids movie, obviously, being Pixar, but I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be funny. It's going to have its moments, and I think it's going to be a great movie for kids and a fun little watch for us.
I totally agree. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the animation style of this is a little bit different. I guess is how you would describe it. I mean, if you look at the last two Pixar movies, Onward and Soul, they definitely have a style to them. They try to mix like almost photorealism with caricatures of these characters. Like you'll notice that in all the Pixar movies, none of the humans look exactly like humans, and I think that's to avoid the uncanny valley. But I like the animation style of this. It's definitely unique to Pixar, at least compared to some of the more recent movies they've been doing.
I agree. I mean, yeah, it does look definitely different. They do jump around though with styles and stuff like that as well.
Right, so. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, Pixar is always trying to push the limits to what animation can do. And, like, I mean, regardless of the stylistic choices of this movie, I think we can all agree the water is going to look amazing in this movie.
Easy.
Like,
very easily.
I don't know if you guys saw The Good Dinosaur, but oh my god, the water in that movie.
Yeah.
Ooh. Pixar just out here flexing them water physics. So
the water in Finding Dory.
Water in from Pixar. Just water in general.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. So, moving on. I don't know how many Destiny fans we have in the audience, but today we got our first look at Season 14, aka Season of the Splicer. It's going to involve the Vex taking our sun. Apparently us Guardians cannot have anything in the last city.
According to the Vex.
A few things of note, just pertaining to this season. There's going to be a new 6-man match-made activity. That looks pretty neat. Looks like it's going to be having
Correct me if I'm wrong as well. Is that the first time we've gotten a 6-man thing?
No, it is not. Back in Season of the Opulence, we had the... I want to say it was called the Gauntlet, but I can't remember exactly what it was called. But then in Season of the Undying, we had the Vex invasion activity.
Correct. Yeah.
So that was.
Now that you say it, now I remember.
Yeah. But so we're getting a new 6-man match-made activity. It looks like it's going to have some jumping puzzles, lots of enemies to kill. Should be pretty fun. We're getting a new stasis weapon, a sidearm that is able to freeze enemies. It looks like that'll be able to proc after a few kills, or maybe a reload after a few kills. We don't quite know yet.
It also kind of looks like it might just be you hold aim or something.
Yeah.
Or, it's an interesting looking pistol, but...
It looks like the quest giver for this season is going to be Mithrax. It's a returning character. Should be interesting. A lot of people are talking about this. We see Baby Fallen in one shot of the trailer. That's kind of cool.
I would just say the last kind of thing about it is like you and I said something about this, the distinct kind of almost Tron theme.
Right, yeah. It's very synthwave 80s neon. It's like OG Tron, very...
I mean, it reminds me a little bit of our latest dungeon, but not at the same time.
Oh, Prophecy, yeah.
Yeah, Prophecy.
Especially that one part where you're riding the sparrows through that spinning room. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of parts that kind of connect it, and I do enjoy this more futuristic style. Because Destiny's an MMO RPG,
right,
as we all know, but a shooter and a looter shooter. And exploring, I feel like a lot of the time those get locked into kind of a fantasy setting, even though they are futuristic. And I like this futuristic vibe we've been getting from a lot of recent content.
One thing to also note is not only are we going to get Mithrax, but we're going to get the return of another big character, Ikora Rey. One of the main characters. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but that's a new voice actress.
Yeah, I definitely heard it.
I did not. I hadn't heard Ikora speak in so long in the game that I didn't notice until someone else pointed it out. I was like, oh. Huh.
Then you heard it, yeah.
Yeah.
I typically walk up to her thinking she'll have something, but...
a folly endeavor.
Just the one hope one day. I guess the last thing about it is the Vault of Glass.
Right, yep. There is going to be a world's first raid for that, but it's going to work a little bit differently. We're not going to go into it basically just to cover baseline. Once you complete it, there's going to be a series of triumphs that unlock that you have to complete those within a certain amount of time to get world's... Well, you have to be the first team to complete those triumphs to get world's first. There's going to be a belt too. We'll have to see how it goes, but that's pretty baseline. I'm excited to play Vault of Glass. I never did that in Destiny 1.
It's a fun raid, so... moving on a little bit from that, but keeping on the video game topics, just two little things that we thought were interesting and wanted to go over. I'm kind of our resident Nintendo fan here, so Pokemon Snap was a big interest for me. The new Pokemon Snap came out very recently. It's been getting some pretty good praise for what it is. It's really a strange game, especially if anybody remembers what it was like playing it originally on the 64. It was a off, kind of just weird side game for Pokemon, and a lot of people really liked it. Obviously, there's a fan base for it, as there's a massive fan base for Pokemon, and it's been doing pretty successful. So that's always nice to see. I mean, Nintendo's kind of in the background all the time, so...
Right.
And then the other thing we really wanted to talk about, then going again, I am the, I guess you could say Elden, or Ring Soulsborne, I don't know.
I said Elden Soulsborne.
Elden Soulsborne, yeah, I guess, we did get a couple more little leaks here and there, like I know... If anybody is a fan of it and is waiting for it, we've gotten nothing, so these little leaks are pretty big deals. And it was only like 6 seconds, but we see this really cool cathedral-looking thing, and it's nothing we've seen before in the games, so that's why people are making the connection that it could be Elden Ring. Super cool scenery, if you could find the clip on Reddit. It is gorgeous. I don't know what else to say. The lighting, the ray tracing, everything about it just looks so phenomenal. If you're like me, you're very excited for the game. But hopefully we hear more about it soon.
It's always nice to hear more about those games. I know they're all all the From Software games are very beloved by their fans. I've played a few, but as I've maintained time and time again, my favorite Soulsborne game is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which we do have news on, which we will cover later in this episode.
Yeah, and also something else about it, but alright. I think that's about it for video game stuff.
Nope, not quite.
Well, not Star Wars, but...
No. Earlier this week, we got some leaked screenshots of Battlefield 6.
True.
It just looks to be... I'm not even going to try to pretend to know the Battlefield map names, but that one island map that shows up in every Battlefield game, it appears to be that map, and it looks kind of futuristic. Some leaks have suggested that there will be it'll be a follow-up to Battlefield 4, and that we'll get I don't want to describe them as mechs, but I guess robots, kind of. I don't want to go around saying that this is confirmed. This is purely leaks and speculation, so take this all with a grain of salt. But from the screenshots, I mean, you can very clearly tell that it's definitely post-modern. We're getting a little bit into the future here. Probably nothing too insane. If I had to have a comparison to another video game, I would say this is the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 of Battlefield, where it's in the future, but things are modern enough where it's not outlandish.
I don't want to make this comparison, but I'm definitely going to make it. It's just going to be Battlefield's version of Titanfall. if the robot leak is true.
Yeah, I can see that. That would not surprise me.
Yeah, but for those of you who haven't seen it, just as Andrew had explained, we get a picture of what looks like some modern helicopters flying in on our typical island, but then we also get a picture of the cockpit of one of these helicopters, and inside the picture we see a spaceship and some futuristic kind of looking buildings, as well as the cockpit looks super futuristic compared to what we have seen from them on their modern take. So, kind of interesting. We'll see how that goes, but that's news to be held later.
Yep. Speaking of things to come, Marvel kind of dropped a massive video yesterday for us, for everyone watching. Have been a couple days ago, titled "Marvel Celebrates the Movies," and
what a gorgeous video.
I'm gonna just come right out and say it. When Stanley started talking, I started tearing up.
Yep.
I'll be completely honest. I can't watch Endgame without tearing up.
Well, that's normal.
That's like everybody. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anything Stan Lee, watching Endgame. Mm-hmm. I think the end of Infinity War is a little bit back and forth with me, but
that when Endgame re-released the Stan Lee featurette at the end.
Oh my god.
That
hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But as we were saying, with that video, we got some news about the future.
Oh yeah, we got tons of news.
Basically the entire phase.
Yeah, this is basically this was Marvel's Phase 4 hype trailer, and boy did it work for me.
Agreed.
So for those of you who haven't seen the video, we're just gonna kind of describe it. Basically, it opens with a bunch of previous shots from MCU movies. We get a Stan Lee voiceover talking about how basically humans are the best and that we should be working to unify, not divide, and everyone is a part of one big universe. And then it moves on to, we see some footage from Black Widow and Shang-Chi when we get those dates as well. Well, we already knew those dates. And then we also get, and this is the big one here, we get our very first look at the Eternals.
Yeah.
And wow,
They
it looks good.
Dropped it out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, it's like, what, maybe 8 seconds
Mm-hmm.
of footage, like, maximum?
Yep.
But the little bit we see...
It looks amazing, and I have a fact here. The one, it's a very quick shot, just like most of these, but the shot of them like on a beach or whatever, no visual effects, none at all. And the director, Chloe Zhao, who is hot off the heels of winning a Best Director Academy Award just last week, has said that she's relying on a lot of natural light for this movie. So this one is definitely going to have a very unique look to it.
Yeah, it's
And
mostly
I'm
shot on
practical.
location.
Yep, I'm very excited to see this.
So am I.
But to get into dates, starting off, we have Black Widow releasing July 9th, 2021. Followed up by Shang-Chi on September 3rd, also this year. Followed by Eternals on November 5th. And finally, Spider-Man No Way Home on December 17th.
4 movies this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Next year, 2022, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness releasing on March 25th. We have Thor, Love and Thunder releasing on May 6th, 2022. And this next one is huge. Black Panther 2, now titled Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That's going to be coming out July 8th, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, bring your tissues to that one. That one's going to hurt.
Yes, it is.
And then next up, Captain Marvel 2, now titled The Marvels, is coming out November 11th, 2022. The Marvels logo combines Captain Marvel's logo with Miss Marvel's logo and
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau. In the comics, she goes by Spectrum sometimes and other times Photon. I know the logo indicates one versus the other, but I can't remember. I want to say
Photon.
that she's going by Photon. Yeah, Photon. Okay. So we're going to get Captain Marvel, Photon, and Miss Marvel in that movie. So that'll be really cool. Following that up, in 2023, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, releasing February 17th. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah. It's going to be a good movie.
May 5th, 2023. So for anyone watching the day of upload, that's 2 years from today. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes!
So excited for this one. I got nothing else to say. I'm just counting the days. And then, last but not least, with no date, but I think it's safe to assume, possibly coming out in mid to late 2023, we have Fantastic Four.
So hyped. So incredibly hyped for that.
I was hyped the moment they announced this back in whenever they did the whole announcement for the next 3 phases. I assumed that Fantastic Four was going to be maybe a Phase 5 or 6 movie, but no. Phase 4.
Yeah.
And just, wow.
It's going to be exciting.
Now, I do have a little bit of a casting thing for Fantastic Four. Keep in mind, this is probably nothing. Do not set this as your expectation. Do not take this as 100% fact. But after the Marvel Celebrates the Movies video dropped, the voice actor for Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2 tweeted a picture of the Fantastic Four logo from that video and said, "There's something about this thing." Is it an indication that he's going to be playing the Thing? Some people say yes, other people are like, no, it's way too soon for that. If he were revealing that, he'd probably be fired. I'm kind of sitting in between because, on the one hand, sure, why not? But on the other hand, yeah, it makes sense that it'd be way too early to be teasing this sort of thing.
Fake out, he could be playing Dr. Doom.
Ooh, could you imagine freaking boy? Fantastic Four?
You question my power?
That would be funny.
You just gotta have some faith. So
what's that? Yeah.
That's all the Marvel news. I do want to talk one more thing. Casey, I'm pretty sure you want to talk about this too. During all these title and date reveals, we got a extended rendition of the Marvel fanfare that's been present since Civil War.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I was about to correct myself. My bad, everyone. Since Doctor Strange. And man, Marvel just needs to drop this on Spotify so I can just listen to it over and over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Wow.
Not only is it longer, it's more intense.
And I'm really glad they're using this in trailers and whatnot, because it kind of shows me that this is like the version of the fanfare they're going to be sticking with for a while, which I'm really excited for because this is my favorite of the fanfares.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
So, with that said, does anyone have any other news we want to talk about before we get into our May the 4th news?
Nah, the rest is just Star Wars for me.
Dope. Okay. Well, let's get right into it. As I mentioned before, we have some Jedi Fallen Order news.
Yes.
Unfortunately, not a sequel.
Yeah.
We're just going to come right out the gate here and say this. We were kind of disappointed with the Star Wars news, or lack thereof, announced today. But regardless, we still got some cool things to talk about. So, Jedi Fallen Order is getting a PlayStation 5 upgrade. Originally, it had just been given an update to unlock it at 60 frames a second, but now this is getting a full upgrade. I imagine better load times, if any at all. I'm crossing my fingers on this, but I'm not expecting it. Maybe haptic trigger feedback. I really hope so, because
I was thinking about that. It would be cool if the controller vibrated a little bit when your lightsaber is ignited. I don't know how they would make that work, but that'd be pretty nice.
I think they definitely can make that work.
Yeah. It just, the thing is though, like, are you talking about just like having like a low hum vibration like whenever the lightsaber is active?
Yeah, not like the controller's not having a full blown seizure. It's just a small hum.
That would be cool. The only problem I could see is that would kill batteries so fast. Just having the vibrations constantly going.
Yeah, that's true.
But what I would really want from the haptic triggers is I want to be able to feel the blaster bolts I'm deflecting. Like
a little pushback.
Like I don't know how best to describe it. Like if you've used a PlayStation 5 controller to play like Call of Duty, then you know exactly what I'm talking about with the trigger effects. Like, I want that, but in reverse, I guess? I don't know. But I'm really excited for this, whatever they bring to the table, because I just want to replay this game.
Yeah, I think just a minor rework on some textures too. Maybe a little bit more ray tracing in there. And you've got what was already a perfect game now looking and feeling a little bit better.
Can you imagine the final Darth Vader fight in 4K?
Oh, man. So we don't have any official date for when this drops. We just know that it is dropping sometime in the summer. So that could be any time from sometime in May to the end of August. We just don't really know. We'll obviously get more information as we get nearer to when it drops. Moving on, Brandon, you want to talk about the next piece of news?
Regarding the lightsaber? Disney, specifically Disney World, posted like a 30-second video today. I saw it and I clicked on it and I was like, wow, what kind of special effects were they using on that lightsaber? It looks really good. And then I realized it was a real lightsaber. That was the point of the video. So Disney has developed a new kind of lightsaber, purchasable, as I'm assuming it's going to be, that kind of uses...
Actually, I read an article and I just want to catch this before it goes any further. It is not purchasable yet.
Yeah, I was going to say. Obviously not yet.
What I mean to say is that even when this does release, it is not going to be purchasable because, from my understanding, it's going to be an exclusive item to people staying at the new
hotel.
Hotel in Disney World. They get it at the start of their stay and they give it back at the end.
Oh, that's gonna... Okay, I don't exactly agree with that, but the way that it works is what's super interesting to me, and I'm kind of curious why nobody's thought about this before. So it's kind of like the normal lightsabers you get from like Walmart, where you swing it and it's got the couple blades that go inside each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that, but it's with imagine two measuring tapes, kind of back to back. So you turn it on and motors spin them, and the two measuring tapes kind of shoot out as if a normal lightsaber would, covered in LEDs, surrounded by what I'm assuming is kind of like a plastic tube, or whatever it may be. So it is able to extend and, as we saw, look exactly like a lightsaber when you ignite it, and retract as if you were to disignite a lightsaber or retract the lightsaber blade. And it is glorious.
Agreed.
It looks so good. I was like, wow, they really took their time to make this lightsaber look good. And then I realized it was a real one. I was like, wait.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, I had actually heard about this like a week or so ago, and when it was described to me like as being like a real lightsaber, I was like, the scientific principles behind a real lightsaber make it so that it's actually kind of
physically impossible.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, a lightsaber is primarily plasma based, and plasma just kind of goes on forever unless stopped. So
I'm trying to remember the name of the YouTube channel that somebody's gotten.
The Hacksmith?
Yes, Hacksmith's gotten probably the closest to what you can do in real life. Not trying to plug their channel or anything, but they've got really cool videos on it. But yeah, with a lightsaber not being achievable in real life due to its the principles of how the physics work and everything works, it's awesome to see that they're trying to make one as, I kind of want to say photorealistic as possible. I know that's probably not the right word.
Probably movie accurate.
Yeah, as close to you can get to a real life lightsaber that you know isn't one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that darn real life science just really kind of stomps all over science fiction.
Very unfortunate.
The thing I like most about it is not only does it look amazing, but you'd think with that kind of mechanics, the hilt would be bulkier, but it looks like, looks like it's a pretty good fit.
I was going to say, it looks a little bulky compared to the blade, but, I mean, what else are you going to get?
Yeah.
Right.
Or what more can you ask for?
So, Casey, do you want to talk to us about what new additions we got to Star Wars on Disney Plus?
Yeah. So obviously we got the Bad Batch,
which we will be talking about later.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But I do want to bring up, there's this 18-minute episode. I don't know if it's going to be a series, probably not, but it's called Star Wars Biomes. I think there's something on National Geographic where they did something like that, but with like forests and stuff. This one is Star Wars planets, so it's a bird's eye view of Star Wars planet. You get to see Hoth in all its glory, Tatooine, Crate. Those are just a few, but
nice.
Pan through the planet looks pretty good, especially if you have a 4K TV. Looks amazing, so I would give that a watch.
To follow that up, they also released a second series, I guess you could call it, because there's 2 episodes to it, called Star Wars Vehicle Fly-Through. When last I checked, the 2 episodes are
Millennium Falcon and
Millennium Falcon and a First Order class Star Destroyer. So
yeah,
those should be interesting. And we also got a new Simpsons short. Yep.
I have yet to watch that, but I've heard it's pretty dang funny, actually. So,
see, I'm of 2 opinions. Part of me wants to say that's not surprising, and the other part of me knows what The Simpsons is like these days, and wants to say, yeah, that's actually kind of surprising.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to watch it, see for myself, but...
And last but not least, for the new Star Wars Disney Plus editions, every mainline movie, that being Episode 1, 2, 3, Solo, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 9, they all got a new fan art banners to them. They posted all of them on the official Star Wars Instagram page, but if you just look them up, they're not too hard to find, or you just go on Disney Plus. I think they also added one for the Clone Wars.
Yep.
And I don't think they did one for Rebels or Resistance, which is unfortunate.
They also did ones for Bad Batch and Mandalorian.
Right, yep. I think now this isn't because of my bias towards the movie, that being that I really love this movie, but I think the fan banner for The Rise of Skywalker looks the best.
No question. I would have said Return of the Jedi, but in the bottom left window is empty. I feel like they could have put Boba Fett there. That's the only thing bringing it down.
For those of you watching on YouTube, the banner we're currently using the background is yet another piece of fan art that is up on the on Disney Plus. This is when you click on the Star Wars section. This is what displays. This is what's there. Each movie has their individual ones.
I was going to say real quick regarding that fan art. I was going to say the Bad Batch one is also pretty good. But I'm actually personally a fan of the Empire Strikes Back one. I don't know if it's just biased because that's my favorite Star Wars movie. But I think the photorealism of it kind of stood out to me compared to the rest.
Yeah. This other one, the one for episode 2, I don't want to call it the worst, because it actually does look good. I just think it's my least favorite.
Anakin just looks weird.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, Anakin kind of looks odd.
It is a strange one. Not trying to diss anybody's art. Obviously,
It's way better than anything we could do. Or at least I could do.
I was gonna say Solo's is a little.
Yeah,
I really like the style of it.
Too.
I really like the style of it. It's just a little bit different from the rest, and I think that's why it stands out so much.
The Rise of Skywalker one is sorry to interrupt, but it's like insanely detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Really good job.
I really love how you have the Emperor on one side, and you have Kylo on the other side, and you have Rey in the foreground, and then you have Rey against the burning TIE Whisper and in the background, and it's just
yeah,
looks so good.
Exegol in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not to discredit any other artists. I think all of these look amazing. Just kind of picking favorites out of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, phenomenal job to everybody who was picked. And I'm not sure if they did like a submission thing or anything like that, or if we could see others, but
congratulations, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
even trying to submit one of these is a feat, so.
I know Star Wars is beloved by millions, if not billions, of people, and just it would be an honor just to have a piece of art considered to be on there, let alone actually get it on there and seen by millions of people. That's insane.
Yeah. Congrats to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
With that, I think, is that it for our Star Wars news?
Yeah, I think that is the conclusion of our news section as a whole. Oh, wait. We do have some more Star Wars news, just boilerplate stuff. As it is May the 4th currently, or May the 5th for those of you watching the day of upload. There are several Star Wars games that are on sale. And by several, we mean pretty much all of them.
Yeah. There's not really any that I would say skip, either.
Yeah, no, I would definitely, you if you haven't played it, now is the perfect time to, at the very least, buy Jedi Fallen Order while it's on the cheap, especially if you have it on your PlayStation 4. Or you get on your PlayStation 4 or your PlayStation 5, because, again, that's getting that upgrade very soon.
For free, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Oh, yeah, obviously the upgrade is for free, as most upgrades are. I don't think there have been any PS4 to PS5 upgrades that have cost extra money. I
mean, unless they were significant. But
I think
that's just referring to 4 to 5, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. I think the only real one is probably going to be GTA 5, but that's getting off topic.
And Skyrim, but...
yeah, well, what are you going to do? Battlefront 2, despite support having ended, update support, I should say, servers are still active and everything. It's still a very solid buy, especially the Celebration Edition, which I believe is the only edition you can buy anymore. That is very worth the money.
And heavily played still. It kind of picked up after support for the game ended.
There's also Star Wars Squadrons. That's the dogfighting game, which, let's be real here, it really needs a larger player base.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, today, May 4th, is the last day of update supports for the game. There's going to be no more new content drops or whatever. That's really not what you want to hear on Star Wars Day, but what are you going to do? Probably play Squadrons, to be honest. And I think, Brandon, you mentioned something about pop figures and whatnot for Star Wars. You want to go over that?
Oh yeah, just a quick little thing. There was 2 figures, I believe, a Flame Trooper, and then a why am I spacing? Darth Maul's race. A Night Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Warrior. Is what the other one was. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. A Flame Trooper and a Night Brother Warrior. Hasbro is making 2 models for them, or action figures from Fallen Order. And then an old and pretty beloved game, being Star Wars Republic Commando, is actually getting a Funko Pop. Which is quite surprising. I mean, it is and it isn't at the same time. It's surprising as it's an old game.
But, I mean, it did just get a re-release on the PlayStation 4. So it's kind of been brought back a little bit into the cultural limelight, I should say.
Yeah. Along with it, actually, they're releasing 2 others. Iden Versio is getting her own pop without her helmet, which is kind of not common. And then, again, the Night Brother Warrior is getting a pop as well. So he's getting an action figure and a pop.
Good for him.
Lucky guy.
Yeah. Be able to sit in the box on collector shelves.
Yeah. I think with that kind of wraps up all the Star Wars stuff. As we said, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot.
Yep.
We were hoping for more, but who can complain, Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
It's just a celebration of, something that shapes what we consider pop culture, essentially. So,
and we just have to look at it this way. Even though we didn't get a whole lot of news today, it just means we just gotta stay on our toe for the news later.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
So, with that said, let's get right into our general topic. Keeping with the Star Wars theme and the fact that the Bad Batch premiered today, we're going to be talking about Star Wars The Clone Wars.
And then afterwards we'll do a little synopsis on the Bad Batch.
Yep.
But we wanted to start today with the Clone Wars.
Yep. So I think the best place to start is the beginning. Just heads up, the show ended a year ago, so we are going to be talking spoilers. If you haven't seen it by now,
I'm a little disappointed.
Yep. But just know most of the spoilery stuff doesn't happen until season 7, so that'll be towards the end of the discussion if you really want to miss it. However, heads up, that does not mean we won't talk about season 7 prior 2 when we get to that point.
Yeah.
And for those of you afraid of Bad Batch spoilers, don't worry. There will be none whatsoever, not even in our small little discussion at the end. We're not going to do any spoilers for Bad Batch. We'll save all spoilers and whatnot for when the series wraps in mid-August. So, let's get started. Season 1. Rough start.
Quite.
As with most shows, it was kind of just trying to find its feet for the first 2 seasons. But I mean, there are some good episodes in season 1. The Malevolence arc, which is episodes 2, 3, and 4. That's a pretty good arc.
Yeah.
I would say.
I do want to say episode 1 is actually kind of good.
Ambush, yeah.
I mean, when you kind of look at some of the other episodes,
it's certainly better than what actually came first in the Clone Wars, that being the Clone Wars movie, which yikes.
Really important in the way of Ahsoka, but other than that,
yeah.
Like, you don't even really have to watch it.
But I'm going to, because not that you viewers may care very much, but today I started the Ultimate Mega Star Wars Chronological Rewatch. So today was episode 1, and that goes through episode 2, the Clone Wars TV show, the Clone Wars movie, the Bad Batch, episode 3, and on and on and on and on until you get to 9. It's all TV shows, all movies, all video games, and it's going to be quite the undertaking.
Oh, so you're going to play Fallen Order?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to have started that.
Yeah,
I expect this is going to take a long time.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good amount of I don't want to say character development, but that's kind of like, it's more learning about the characters, because the characters are established already. But as any Star Wars fan knows, episode 2 is the beginning of the Clone Wars, and episode 3,
the end of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, of the movies, is the end of the Clone Wars. So we know the beginning and the end, and then they came out with the show, which explains the in-between. So we have those characters at the beginning. We see what happens to those characters as they go through, and why it is what it is at the 3rd movie. And as you were saying, Andrew, it's kind of a rough start, as any show has. Certainly there's a lot of things to pick out that is kind of important. Isn't Grievous's little arc in there as well? His lair or whatever? Yeah,
Lair of Grievous. Yep, that's episode 10.
That one's a little interesting, learning more about him.
For those of you listening, I do not just know these episodes off the top of my head. I have a list in front of me.
I was going to say, it's kind of hard to remember all of them. Isn't some of the clone stuff in there as well?
Yeah, episode 5 is Rookies, and that's actually the midpoint of the Domino Squad arc. For those of you who are unaware, the Clone Wars, in terms of being in chronological order, is a complete mess.
Yeah.
It jumps all over the place.
They got better, but...
yeah, later seasons are better, but the first, I would say up until season 4 or 5, things were just all over the place. people have put it together in chronological order, and you can find the list online. It's not that hard. If you just type the Clone Wars chronological order, you'll probably find a Reddit post or something.
There's full-on websites that have it. Like, it's everywhere. You can find it very easily.
Right.
It is incredibly... not hard, but it's weird jumping around, because I think, like, the first episode's in Season 2 anyway. Like, in chronological order.
Yeah, well, I've never watched it in chronological order. This year will be the first time, but...
Okay.
Yeah, it's just all over the place. So... But, yeah, Season 1 has some good episodes, but I think Season 2 is where it kind of starts to pick up, and honestly, just looking through this list, I always just kind of forget what episodes air when. Like, because there's a episode called Trespass in Season 1. That's when Anakin and Obi-Wan are on an ice world and get stuck between a conflict between the local inhabitants and the technical owners of the planet, and so they're all like having a little conflict, and that episode just always feels like it's later, but no, it's the 15th episode of the show, and Season 2 is just even more insane. To get back to that, because I don't know about you guys, but the Death Watch arc on Mandalore, that always just felt like a late show episodes. Like, those felt later in the series, but no, Season 2.
Huh?
Exactly, yeah.
I was gonna say, we meet Hondo in episode 11?
Yeah, and Dooku captured. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we meet Hondo in episode 11, and then episode 1... Or no, not even. We meet... oh, why am I spacing his name? Cad Bane? Right?
Yep.
Yeah, we meet him in the last episode of Season 1, don't we?
Yeah, Holocron
With
Crisis.
the hostage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Or Hostage
obviously-
Crisis, my bad.
Yeah, and then we get the Holocron heist at the beginning of the next
Yep.
season. There's a lot of very important character development and stuff that happens in the first season that I'm just now remembering.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a minute.
And Season 2, again, yet another series of episodes that I just kind of forget are so early in the series, is the Zillow Beast arc.
Yeah.
As well as the Boba Fett wants to kill Mace Windu arc. That's the last arc of Season 2.
There's a lot of stuff. A handful of episodes that kind of don't matter too much.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly meeting Duchess Satine in the second
Very
season.
important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very big one.
Episode 12, The Mandalore Plot, is the first on-screen look at the Darksaber ever.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really cool. For Season 2, I want to bring up one specific episode, because this is a question I've just kind of had recently. Season 2, Episode 10, The Deserter. While out on patrol, Captain Rex is shot, and he gets taken in by this Twi'lek and her family, and it turns out that her husband is a ex-clone. So I want to know kind of what happens to that family once Order 66 is activated, because does he just, like, all of a sudden, just in the middle of dinner, good soldiers follow orders, good soldiers follow orders, like, does he just kind of freak out, or did his inhibitor chip like stop working or something. Who knows?
It's probably just a malfunction.
Maybe.
It's that, or just the lack of a Jedi. He didn't really need to react. Kind of turned on in his head, and he said, "Oh yeah, I need to kill Jedi, but I don't know any Jedi." So
Yeah, I could see that.
that's just my way of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This was
Like,
the...
if there was no reason for them, like, to kill anybody, there's no point.
We're talking about the beginning of the arc where Fives tries to explore, or not, expose the chip, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of referencing that, but we'll talk more in detail of that arc because that's in like season 5. But yeah, I mean, because every clone has an inhibitor chip that basically forces them to do Order 66.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, I think season 1 and 2 are a little bit more establishing, especially for characters than I remember.
Yeah. Season 2 was definitely a step up in quality, but it was still like kind of trying to find its place. I don't think it's until season 3 where things really pick up and the tone of the show is set and
it's dark. Some of it is really
some of it is dark, but I would say for the most part it still remains true to being a kid show.
Yeah.
But I'm looking through the list here. Season 3, it's
a good season.
All bangers.
It starts off with some of our clone
Yep, that's
important episodes that fall into Domino Squad.
Yeah, we get the first 2 episodes is the beginning and end of the Domino Squad arc, respectively.
Yeah.
Of course, Rookies is the middle of that arc. But then
kind of goes over back into Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of stuff in there. Get a little bit about the Night Sisters.
Right, yep, because this is the season where Dooku turns on Ventress.
Yeah.
And, but season 3 probably has one of the best arcs in the entire show, that being the Mortis arc.
Mm-hmm. The father, the daughter, and the son.
And just, I remember watching this arc as a kid and not liking it because it was really weird and didn't make a whole lot of sense to me because I was a stupid kid. As I'm sure most everyone listening can agree that you yourselves were also stupid kids. But, after rewatching it, I'm like, wow, these are just excellent episodes that kind of delve in.
Underrated a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah. It really delves into the mythos of the Force, and I like it that it, like, everyone has their opinions on midi-chlorians, and I think they do have their place in the universe, but I've always preferred that the Force is more mystical than biological. Yeah. And so the Mortis arc kind of bridges that gap, and that's really nice, and it was really cool to see in the final episode of that arc that the brother or the son, I forget what they call him, shows Anakin his future, shows him Darth Vader and Alderaan and Padme dying and all that, and just Anakin is completely broken by all of it. But, of course...
He would be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, of course, the father is playing everything 2 steps ahead and erases his memory of those future events. Despite the fact that they still come true, no matter what. It's like a fixed point in time. Anakin will always turn to the dark side.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see. What other episodes we got in here?
I think that's pretty much it.
There's not too much.
Yeah, the Mortis was kind of towards the end of the season.
There's the younglings at the end, but
no, that's not. That's when Ahsoka gets kidnapped and gets hunted for sport by the Trandoshans.
Oh.
Actually, this season starts the arc of Savage Opress looking for Darth Maul. And that, of course, gets concluded in season 4 and 5 and whatnot, and then later in Rebels.
Yeah. I mean, season 3 in a whole is pretty
very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it smacks.
Season 3, episode 10, Heroes on Both Sides. It's I wouldn't say it's a lower rated episode, but I really like that episode because it's... I know a lot of people kind of aren't big fans of the, politics in the prequels, that being that they feel maybe a little bit too much a part of the story, especially in the first one, in episode 1. But I kind of like this episode showing that the Republic and the Separatists at a ground level aren't exactly different. And I mean, in the end, both sides share one very central commonality. They're both being manipulated by Palpatine. So, I like that arc.
Being a pretty big...
Well, not arc, it's one episode, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, they definitely keep the idea of it throughout the entire thing.
So, moving on to season 4. There's some real good episodes in here, and there are some really bad episodes in here.
Yeah.
Starting out, we have the whole arc on Mon Cala. Kind of a whatever arc, if I'm being honest. It's cool to see Admiral Akbar, or who will one day become Admiral Akbar, because he's not an admiral in this. But I think overall, I just kind of wasn't interested in this arc.
The arc after that was the one with C-3PO and R2, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, yeah.
That one was, yikes.
This is one of the reasons why I say Rebels is better than Clone Wars, is more consistency in quality. Because you get this Mon Cala arc, which is very middle of the road, it's whatever. But then you just get these episodes with R2-D2 and C-3PO just kind of going on wacky adventures across the galaxy, and they're not great. However, it should be noted that George Lucas has said that those droid episodes are some of his favorites, and I guess I can see why, but I'd have to disagree.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me why you would say that, but...
Mm-hmm. Season 4 does, however, introduce one of the most hated characters in Star Wars, next to Rose, and that being Pong Krell.
Mm-hmm. And that's in, of course, the Umbara arc, which a lot of people say is one of the best arcs of the show. I would tend to agree, but I feel like some people take it too far. Especially the crowd that just is always harping on the fact that, oh, the Clone Wars is super duper dark and not exactly a kid's show. No, that's nonsense. The Clone Wars is the kid's show.
Yeah.
It has dark themes, but it's a kid's show.
I will say, though, after Krell, I think the rest of the season is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, they harp with the whole, I don't know what the arc is called, but the Kadavo, I think is the planet, or whatever it is. Just playing with Anakin's slave background.
Mm-hmm.
As sad as that is. And then we jump into some more stuff about Mandalore. Cad Bane comes back and is working with Dooku. We have a whole thing with Saj. I think the very end is the best part of it. Darth
Yeah.
Maul and Savage.
Yep.
I honestly, when those two are in it, in the show, obviously, I think those are some of the best episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you see Savage Opress and Darth Maul, the show just gets infinitely better.
Not to skip too far ahead, the episode where they both gang up on Obi-Wan in the tunnel.
I wouldn't say that's too far ahead, seeing as though that's the start of season 5.
Is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That fight... Okay, yeah, you're right. That fight is probably one of my favorite fights in all of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Man, season 5 has got some good ones, too. We have more... Oh, this is... So, season 5, episode 4... 3 or 4. Episode 3, I think. Season 5, episode 3 introduces Saw Gerrera for the very first time in Star Wars history, and that's a character we've seen, in this. We'll see him in The Bad Batch. We saw him in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We saw him in Rebels, and we, of course, saw him in Rogue One. That's, spoiler alert, where he died. Just in case you haven't seen that nearly 5-year-old movie.
That's on you.
Yeah. Good lord, 5 years.
That's really hard to think about.
Time is ruthless. Season 5 also has the Gathering arc. That's where the younglings go to Ilum to get their Kyber crystals.
That's the arc I was talking about.
Yep. Really, that arc is kind of weird.
That's
yeah,
wholesome,
that arc.
Though.
Yeah, the arc is kind of weird because I think the first episode is probably the best, and then it kind of just slowly, episode by episode, maybe is just kind of goes down a little bit in quality, I think.
Yeah.
And
well, it gets even worse.
But I think overall it's a good arc.
Yeah.
Especially that first episode.
I'm referring to the arc that comes immediately after.
Oh yeah, the D Squad arc.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about that. It's probably one of my least favorite parts of
yeah.
Wars. Something I skip every single time.
I will say though that the clone they find, Gregor, he does show back up in Rebels, so it does come back.
Yeah.
Though, again, not the best episodes.
Correct.
But then we do get some of the best episodes. The last, like, episodes 14 through 20. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 14, 15, and 16 is Darth Maul and Savage Opress taking over Mandalore. And spoiler alert, they kill Duchess Satine. Just oof.
Oh, dude, seeing Obi-Wan after that.
Oh, yeah, no. That really hurt Obi-Wan.
And it's part of the reason why Obi-Wan's probably my favorite Jedi. It's Clone Wars, specifically, obviously, is what I meant by that. But, yeah, it's hard watching it. To be honest. But, I mean, talking about being the rest of the season, we also get the Ahsoka's trial.
Yeah, episodes 17, 18, and 19, those are the episodes where a bomb goes off in the Jedi Temple, and Ahsoka is blamed for it. She goes on the run, and it turns out that it was actually one of her good friends, Barriss Offee. And I think we can all agree, Barriss Offee is just the frickin' worst.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
Easy.
However, I want to point out one interesting thing. Obviously, at the end of the arc and the end of the season, Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Temple. She's done with the Jedi Order. First of all, great piece of music.
Oh my god.
Yep. Between this and Rebels, and I'm sure the Bad Batch, Kevin Kiner has really just hit it out of the ballpark. Excellent Star Wars music.
Yeah, totally agree.
If you're into, like, soundtracks and whatnot. But what I find interesting about why Ahsoka decides to leave the Jedi Order is very similar to Barriss's reasoning for turning against the Jedi.
Yeah, it is.
The prequels as a whole are to show that the Jedi are disillusioned, lost, and hypocrites. And Ahsoka was kind of blindly following them, and then they turned on her on a dime, and she realized that she was a part of the Order, but that doesn't necessarily mean the Order protected her.
Yeah.
And it's just yet another step along the road to the fall of the Jedi, and a part of it is their hypocrisy. And I mean, you can see this in the movies too. I mean, in episode 2, Count Dooku just straight up tells Obi-Wan, hey, the Sith, the Emperor, Darth Sidious, yeah, he's literally controlling the Republic right now. And Obi-Wan is like, no, I don't believe that. Like, come on, Obi-Wan, you don't want to follow that up? Even if you don't believe it, you don't want to just do a very baseline check, just go knock on the Chancellor's office door and be like, hey, you a Sith? just checking, just doing a quick survey. Just, can you sign Palpatine? Yeah, can you just sign right here, just stating that I am not a Sith? No, you won't? Oh, well, look, buddy, I'm gonna have to arrest you then, because, got some bad news.
I was gonna say, that's when Obi-Wan dies.
Can you check this box saying you're not a Sith and fill out the captcha?
Yeah, please identify all the pod racers in this picture just to confirm that you are not a Sith. Ooh, sorry, that was actually a speeder. You're under arrest now, sorry.
That'd be so funny.
But, yeah, that is an excellent arc.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, though. Kind of two heartbreaks, one after the other. That's the part that gets me with it all.
Season 6 is... Like, if you're just shotgunning this show just as they release, it is heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. Because start of season 6 is the Fives episode, right? It's Fives who no, sorry. It's Top.
Yeah, Fives is the one that looks into it. Clone, Tup just all of a sudden fires on a Jedi, and Fives investigates and tries to expose the chip, the whole plot.
That gets him in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And not in good trouble with that.
I can't remember. Fives dies, right? At the end of that arc?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Rex shoots him, right?
No, it's
Rex.
Rex has a gun on him. No, someone takes Rex's gun and shoots him.
I want to say it's Fox. I think it's Commander Fox.
Yeah,
I
this
think
sounds
Rex
right.
kind of started believing him. And he was trying to
Yeah.
protect him while not trying to be a traitor, quote unquote, at the same time.
Yeah, and Fox takes Rex's gun and shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because he was contained, right? They had a beam on him or something.
Yeah, he was ray shielded or whatnot. He wasn't going anywhere, and
still did him in though, which is sad. Domino Squad, yeah, that's something that. I mean, it lasts throughout the entire thing, and we're still seeing. Not to spoil anything, but everybody knows. If you finish this, that Echo joins the Bad Batch.
And that's important because he was presumed dead for a time.
Yeah.
But speaking of people who were presumed dead, season 6 has a few episodes dedicated to the Jedi looking into the death of Jedi Master Sifo Dyas.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
If you don't remember, was the Jedi who supposedly commissioned and paid for the clone army. Obi-Wan, upon hearing that, was really confused because at that point, Sifo Dyas had been dead for 10 years. So something fishy going on.
Very much so.
And then after that, we get the final 2 episodes of season 6, which was cut short because at this time Disney was in the process of buying out Lucasfilms, or buying Lucasfilms, and they requested that Star Wars The Clone Wars be continued on Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network was like, yeah, no. So Disney was like, yeah, you canceled. And
they did just straight up cancel them.
Yep. Which, I mean, it was a bummer, but I think ultimately it led to bigger and better things. So
yeah.
While at the time I was mad, looking back,
it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. With hindsight, really glad it happened. But the last 2 episodes is Yoda kind of exploring the Force, because Qui-Gon starts speaking to him, because Qui-Gon figures out how to turn into a ghost. He is the first Jedi to do so, and so he teaches Yoda and Obi-Wan and so on and so on. Pretty interesting.
Quite.
And then, of course, that season 6 aired in 2014, and it wouldn't take another 6 years for us to get a new episode of The Clone Wars, starting with The Bad Batch. The arc.
Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'd say phenomenal. It was really good, and it was cool to see Echo back. But I think the Bad Batch arc was obviously just setting up their show, and the second arc was just kind of giving us an update on the galaxy at hand. And then it wasn't... Look, let's be real. This season was just all build up for the Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah.
That's what the season was building towards. And it was a really good season. Everyone gives so much crap to the middle arc with the Martez sisters, and I'll admit they aren't the best episodes, especially the second or third episode, because they go through a ton of work to escape and then literally end up back where they started. So it kind of feels like
a waste of time.
Yeah.
I see where people get upset about that, but at the same time...
Mm-hmm. But I think overall it's an important arc, because we don't get to see the civilian side of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, no.
We only get to see the heroes, and so getting to see civilians be like, yeah, living on Coruscant is fine and all, but, the Jedi say they represent us people, but the Jedi haven't done anything good for us ever. And, of course, Ahsoka, being a former Jedi, wants to argue against that, but eventually she comes to see that they're right. The Jedi don't really help people. Not like they should be.
Wow. It's almost like we knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a excellent way to kind of bring light to the civilian side. As you were saying, we don't see much, if any of it, during the entirety of the Clone Wars, or much of any of the shows or movies. I also see people's side where they say it's not really necessary or fun or that as well, but I think it has its place.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps set us up for the last arc.
Right.
Plus, we got more of a Crimson Dawn.
The literal... Huh?
You got more Crimson Dawn, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was...
Oh, yeah.
We don't get a good look at him in the Martez arc, but in the Siege of Mandalore arc, I remember watching it and going, oh my god, that's Dryden Voss.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't expect to see him, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty freaking cool.
I mean, if we're talking about the single best piece of content, that is the Clone Wars, it's this last arc.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, easily. I mean, number one, going back to the Cortez arc, obviously the Bad Batch was updated, but we all kind of knew where the story was going, because that was released before.
Mm-hmm. As unfinished episodes, yeah.
And being those unfinished episodes, they were kind of reutilized. The Cortez arc is when we see what Disney can do now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember watching the Siege of Mandalore and just being blown away.
Mm-hmm.
It was what Disney can do now versus what they were doing before.
Yeah.
I think
just
the highlight of that arc was when Ahsoka and Maul were at that standoff and the windows just shatter.
Oh my god.
And you see all the ashes
yes.
flying. And
mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
Yeah. I can't believe that the last episode, Victory and Death, aired 1 year ago. It feels like such a long time.
It does.
It really does.
But man, there's so much to talk about this arc, from just the fact that the clones paint their helmets to look like Ahsoka's face markings, to the Ahsoka and Maul fight being motion capture, which gives it a unique feel to the rest of the series, because no other fight in the series was done like that.
And it would look absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the fact that it was motion capture. They did such a good job with it. Oh my god.
And the fact that it was actually Ray Park doing the motion capture for Darth Maul.
Yeah, that too.
Of course, we can't talk about this arc without talking about Order 66. That episode...
when you talk about heartbreaking, like, this is right up there with Satine and Ahsoka leaving.
Yeah.
The ending, Victory and Death, number one, phenomenal piece of music.
Excellent piece of music.
But number two, like, I don't think there's it's hard to say if there's a better episode.
There isn't.
Yeah.
And just based on ratings, the site I always go to, IMDb, episodes 10, 11, and 12, the last 3 episodes of the Clone Wars, are in the top 100 episodes of TV of all time on their site.
Dang.
At least last I checked. Because they're all 9.9s.
Yeah.
And episode 11, Shattered, that's the episode with Order 66. I don't know about you guys, but I think that everyone kind of knew going to the episode that this was the Order 66 episode. And it is very clear that the writers and the director of this episode, I'm pretty sure it was probably Dave Filoni, they knew that the audience would know what was going to happen in this episode, because there is just like the music. There's like one just long string of music that plays for like the first like 10 minutes of the episode leading up to Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gives the entire episode an eerie feeling, because you just know what's going to happen. There's nothing you can do to stop it. This is happening. Ahsoka is on a Venator with thousands of clones, and one of her best friends in the world is going to try to kill her.
Yeah.
And just the fact that when she senses it happening, you hear Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, and you mix Hayden Christensen's Anakin with what's his name? Yep. Mm-hmm. With his Anakin, and it's just oof.
Yeah.
It's hard to. It's literally hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of, like you were saying, you know what's about to go down.
Yeah, as soon as
What were you saying?
Oh, I was going to let you finish.
No, I was kind of just rambling.
What I was going to say is, as soon as the episode starts, as soon as the music plays, you're just on edge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think, wasn't it at the end of episode 11 we got that anyway? That Order 66 was declared?
No. Order episode 11 starts with the Siege of Mandalore is over. Darth Maul is captured, and Ahsoka steps into the building and sees the end of a meeting you see the beginning of, or the end of actually, in Revenge of the Sith, and that's where she's talking to like Yoda and Mace Windu, and Ahsoka knows that Anakin is a part of the Sith's plan somehow. She doesn't know how, and she was likely gonna tell Yoda and Mace Windu, but Mace Windu threw some shade at her, and she just kept it to herself, and I don't necessarily blame her, because Mace Windu was being a dick in that scene.
He was. I just feel like, I thought the episode ended while they were on the carrier, and they were standing in the, it wasn't the bridge, was it?
No, episode 11 ends with Ahsoka and Rex in the infirmary being closed in on by clones on all sides.
That's what it was, yeah. So yeah, Order 66 was declared then, at the end of episode 11, so we knew how...
No, it was declared at the halfway point of episode 11.
Okay, then yes, I was right. I was saying episode 11 is when it was declared, so episode 12 is a little bit different, but...
Episode 12 is when Ahsoka releases Maul, and he destroys the ship, ripping it out of hyperspace, and they are crashing into this planet.
Yeah.
And that last piece of music, Burying the Dead, just
hits.
Ooh, man. Ouch.
Well, and the Vader scene at the very end of 12. I remember, I remember watching it myself, but I remember seeing fan reactions. And oh my god. One, seeing it for yourself is...
Mm-hmm.
Seeing him in the Clone Wars style was breathtaking, but...
It's really interesting, because you can view it as because Anakin, this is like freshly turned Anakin. Like he's been Darth Vader for maybe a week or a month, basically not very long. Well, actually, no, we see Stormtroopers, so it's probably like a year out.
I was gonna say he looks.
But
they did the suit right because it's post Augment.
Regardless of how long it takes place after Order 66, you can tell that when he finds Ahsoka's saber and he sees Morai, he realizes that Anakin Skywalker is gone. There's no going back. He destroyed his life.
Yeah.
I think that's just really interesting and heartbreaking at the same time.
Yeah, I think I read it as soon as I finished watching the episode, but a lot of people pointed out that after he looks at Ahsoka's lightsaber and ignites it, you can see his eyes go from that Sith yellow back to blue for a second. I didn't see it when I rewatched it.
I've seen it multiple times. I think it might just be that they're saying it because of the reflection of the blue blade in his eye.
Which can also be an homage, but
I guess.
I think that's I don't think it's past harping that would be the case there. But I think it's beyond a little bit saying that that's exactly the point. I think the real point there was that he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no going back. He realized the mistakes he's made.
And I mean, that scene is also there to provide continuity with Rebels, because spoiler alert, when Ahsoka and Darth Vader meet in Rebels, they both assume each other are dead. Darth Vader assumes Ahsoka is dead, and Ahsoka assumes Anakin is dead.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting. But that's the Clone Wars. All 7 seasons. Excellent show. Has its ups and downs. Overall, very enjoyable.
A watch if you have not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't wait to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm gonna go back and rewatch soon. But, well, with that, do we want to hop into Bad Batch?
Yeah, just a quick rundown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This was a very enjoyable 75 minutes.
Agreed.
I think that opening... I did not expect that opening.
Yeah, neither do I. Did I?
Before we get into it...
I was so glad that we got it.
Before we get into it, I'm just going to say let's hop straight into spoiler section.
No, we're not doing any spoilers.
We're spoilers. Not? Okay, we're just going to avoid that at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we're running a little bit out on time here.
Well, and because, as I said earlier, all spoilers will be talked about when we review the whole season in mid-August.
Yeah.
When the series ends. Or, well, when this season ends.
I don't even think you have to talk about just the beginning, like... Well, obviously, that's not where you were going with that. Just the entire thing was...
Mm-hmm.
The story is phenomenal, and where they're taking this is beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly was not expecting it to... I was expecting it to pick up where it was. I was not expecting the beginning.
Yeah.
And what we've known about it is what happened, but they just took it to another level.
The beginning.
Especially the ending.
I do want to know how much time passed between this show and the Bad Batch arc of Season 7, because at the end of the arc in Season 7, Echo joins the Bad Batch, but in this, he's like a member of the team and is like, well, he's a well-known member of the team.
And he's called Tech.
No, he's called Echo.
I thought
Tech
they were
is
called...
Tech
Oh,
is a
no,
different
you're right.
character.
Yeah, sorry. Why did I think he was named something else?
Yeah, I don't know either, because his name is Echo.
For some reason... Okay, not to get into it. I'll talk about this afterwards, because we're not talking spoilers, but... Yeah. Okay, forget I said anything.
I'm going to cut this all out.
Okay.
But yeah, this was a pretty good episode. I read a headline that said it was a good episode, but the author of the article said that it was too kid-ish. And to that, I have two things to say. Number one, it's a kid's show, so yeah, it's going to be oriented towards kids. And number two, we must have watched 2 different episodes.
Yeah, I disagree with that entirely.
Yeah.
They did a phenomenal job. And I don't even think that's the right word. I was astonished watching it, seeing what happens, and I'm very excited for the next episode. I'm very excited to talk about this when it's over, and I am hyped for where this is going to go.
Seriously. The beginning really set the tone for the series.
Well, I'll be completely honest, I was not expecting this to be... I was expecting it to be good. Not insanely good. Honestly, it kind of like, for me, I didn't really think of it as a Clone Wars kind of thing. Because obviously it's in the same art style.
Right.
And everything like that. I never really looked at it that way. So I never really thought, oh, we're getting more Clone Wars, technically. Which is a way to look at it. But I was also kind of just like, yeah, okay. It's the Bad Batch, cool. Some Star Wars content, waiting for Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett. It'll tide us over. No, this deserves spotlight. Easily. Very easily.
Speaking of the art style, how amazing is the animation?
Oh
it's
my
so
god.
Good.
Without spoiling anything, at one point in like the later part of the episode, there's a close-up of Hunter's face, and despite looking, like the Clone Wars animation style, I just kept looking at thinking, good lord, why does this look real?
Honestly, though.
Kamino looked amazing.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, just that old brief shot we got of Kamino.
And the planet they're on at the beginning also looks great. It just, all around, this show just looks great. It's just, going back to season 1 of the Clone Wars versus season 1 of Bad Batch, just so much has changed in that time.
I want to say it's even slightly better than Siege of Mandalore.
Oh, no doubt. There's no doubt about that.
Well, the only thing I wouldn't say it's better than is what was motion captured, because that's an entirely different thing, which is the most realistic you're going to get.
Right.
Because it is real life. but by God, especially just going back to what you said, just seeing that close up of his face, I think they were doing pores and stuff.
Yeah.
On an animated face. Like, sheesh.
Mm-hmm.
They're just taking this to another level, and I applaud everybody there for it.
Totally.
And I thank them. Thank you, Disney and Star Wars and everybody at Lucasfilm for this, because it is a gorgeous piece of work that will be admired.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Well, with that said, I think you, the viewers, can kind of guess that we are all on board for this show.
I mean, it's hard to not be on board for anything Disney in the first place, but Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I wasn't going in with that high of expectations.
Right.
So I was just flabbergasted, I guess is the right way to say it, by the end of it.
Agreed.
So,
well,
it made Star Wars Day for me, I should say, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could say that for all of us.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I think it's time to wrap up this discussion and move on to our Q&A section.
We do, actually, yeah.
So,
have some Q&A.
This first question comes from Adrian over on Instagram. He says, a dope podcast, and he asks, just want to know your thoughts on the upcoming DC Fandom 2, as well as what they might tease or show in this Fandom 2. First of all, excellent question, and one that I didn't even think of.
By the way, thank you for the compliment as well.
Yep, of course. Just any event where we're getting large content drops, you know, your Star Wars celebrations, your DC fandoms, your E3s, your everything, your Sony or Nintendo Directs or whatever. Just always looking forward to those, and
that's no different here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm in terms of what I think they'll show or tease, I think we'll get some very basic footage from Black Adam, because that starts filming soon. And we'll probably get some more information on Aquaman 2. I know that's kind of been in a weird place developmentally based on the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation, which we're not going to get into.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. If you don't, just look it up. There are a few, I think. See what else could well, since the Flash
movie.
Yeah, the Flash movie finally started production, I think we'll probably get like a full cast list, or at least we'll get some casting announcements. I know there's been some rumors flying around that Michael Keaton is going to return as Batman. We'll have to see. That would be really cool, though. Full disclosure, I think if they're doing a Flashpoint and sticking with the DCEU, I think they should have stuck with Jeffrey Dean Morgan he's on The Walking Dead, but he played Thomas Wayne in Batman v Superman. But I'm, getting off track a little bit.
They could probably give us the Batman trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you are totally right. Mm-hmm. Because the first trailer dropped at the first DC Fandom almost a year ago. And
they didn't show too much footage, did they?
No, it was like...
It's a 2-minute trailer.
I was gonna say, I just haven't watched in a long time. That's a trailer I should go back and watch again.
Yeah, that's supposed to come out in March of next year, provided it doesn't get delayed again, but without jinxing anything, I think we're kind of starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel here. So, here's hoping that nothing gets delayed or pushed back anymore.
Yeah. I'd say the only other thing I kind of expect out of them is a reboot of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I not to diss Ryan Reynolds. I think it was more the writing in that movie.
Oh, it was totally the writing and the CGI.
It's really hard watching that movie. I haven't in a long time. Just we all know why.
I think I've seen it twice.
I don't even think I finished it the first time, to be completely honest.
You're not missing much.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah.
They kind of need to redo that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Green Lanterns, at the end of in the series finale of Arrow, we see that John Diggle gets a Green Lantern ring, and that's sort of just been a plot point that's been hanging in the air. So I would hope that we get to see something with that. I know CW shows are really hit or miss lately. Batwoman.
You're not wrong about that one.
And The Flash. Seriously, come on. Let's figure out where we're going with this story. But I digress. I really hope we do get to see Diggle as a Green Lantern. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, also, one other thing. I know it's 2 years away, but I really hope we get some update for Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Mm-hmm.
At least,
yeah,
like a small teaser or something.
I mean, kind of follow Marvel's shoes right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Give us a little something.
I could see them doing what they did with Black Adam last fandom, where it's just a bunch of concept art with a voiceover, which I wouldn't be opposed to, but I'm gonna keep it real. When I saw in my YouTube recommended Black Adam teaser, I clicked on that so fast and then was so disappointed when I realized what it was. I was like, okay. I guess this is a neat proof of concept. But it's possible we could get a little bit of footage from that movie. At the very least, we may actually see The Rock in the Black Adam suit instead of an artist rendition of it.
I would like to see that sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. That's all I can think of. I guess there was rumors a few months ago of a new actor for Superman. I guess a confirmation or a denial of that would be nice to know. Personally, I really hope that they keep Henry Cavill, however you pronounce his name, keep him around because he's an excellent Superman. But let's be real.
Certainly fits him.
Let's be real. DC's still trying to figure out what they're doing.
This is true. Didn't we have a second question as well?
Yeah. Oh, I thought of one other thing. We could end up seeing a second trailer for the Suicide Squad at DC Fandom 2.
True.
But that would also depend on, because that's done during the summer, and I know that the Suicide Squad is coming out in August, I believe. So we'll have to see timing wise. Like if Fandom 2 is in June, I don't know the dates. If it's in June, then I could see a trailer 2 being possible. If it's any later than that, then I think that a second trailer will have already dropped.
Sounds about right to me. If it's later than that, I feel like they would maybe do like a... If I remember correctly, I could be completely off when I'm talking about this, but I vaguely remember like a mini trailer for the first one that was kind of like character introductions.
Yeah, well, we got that too with this one as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
At DC Fandom, we could also see more footage from Gotham Knights.
Oh, yeah.
And the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League.
Very
or
true.
whatever that game is called. Yeah. And this is a real long shot here. Injustice 3? Maybe? Maybe. That would be dope.
Very nice reveal.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I've already set myself up for way too much disappointment for May the 4th news, of which we got next to none. That's on me. I should have known better.
Well, moving on, we did have a second question.
Yep,
correct?
we do have a second question, and this question comes from the channel's music and design creator, Jonah. A little bit of background. We have been debating this question for 3 years now, so this question is a little tongue-in-cheek. He asks, who would win in a fight to the death, the Flash or Green Lantern? Now we're not gonna dance around here. The Flash would win.
Yep, same answer I gave 3 years ago. The Flash.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's very, very simple. If the Flash wanted to kill you, he would just run back in time and kill you as a child. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult in terms of capabilities. Morally, that's where you get a little bit iffy. But yeah, if the Flash wanted to kill you, you would be dead before you knew it, because he can literally think and move faster than
you would
anything.
be able to process what's happening.
And look, the Green Lantern's powers are cool, imagination and all that. But I'm sorry, a superpower that can run out of battery is not gonna win in a fight against the Speed Force. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny seeing this from the outside because I was not part of this discussion. I know it was you three, but I'm on the Flash side of it, talking about it. Because yeah, you can use your imagination to come up with anything, but that's limited in its own sense.
Yeah.
Both due to just, I mean, there's the fuel of the ring, but then there's also your brain. You gotta fuel that, quite literally. So if you're malnourished or anything like that, that doesn't help you there with creativity, if you think about that. And on top of that, what are you gonna do?
And look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, just to give Jonah's stance a fighting chance. Whenever this argument gets brought up, every once in a while, he brings up similar points, being that to counter the time travel, Hal Jordan in the comics has also used the Green Lantern ring to conjure up a time machine to also travel back in time. And additionally, the ring has a mind of its own, in a sense that it is trying to protect their wearer. So, in theory, the Ring could act in self-defense against the Flash. However, I think we've seen time and time again in the comics and in movies and in TV shows and in animated series and on and on and on that while yes, the Ring can technically protect the wearer, that is all too often not the case.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's also the fact, so Batman keeps a file or files on how to defeat every member of the Justice League. Because, you know, he's just quirky like that, you know? Just how to kill your best friends. You know, we've all got those, you know? But who's to say Flash just can't be like, oh shoot, guess I'm fighting Green Lantern. Well, let's go see what Batman has to say about this fight. Yeah, okay. So that's just run until his battery runs out.
His weaknesses,
and then kill
the color yellow.
Kill him.
Oh, and vice versa at the same time, though.
Well, yeah, but Green Lantern's weaknesses are yellow and wood, so I don't think Flash would lose to someone who can be taken out by a number 2 pencil.
He's a Green Lantern.
I was going to say... And...
He's a Green Lantern. SpongeBob, what does that mean? It means he's afraid of the color yellow. Ooh, yellow. Stop it, Patrick. You're scaring me.
I think also, from what we've seen recently, like Justice League, I think we all have more love for the Flash anyway. Especially because the show, too. The show is really good at parts.
Good thing you added the at parts. I was about to go off.
Yeah, no. It's not
that show
always
is
good.
Meandering so hard right now. But that's not the question at hand. So, yes, Jonah, definitively, we here at Pop Culture Roundup say that the Flash would win in a fight to the death with Green Lantern.
And if any of our viewers out there have a different opinion, you can put it in the comments of the YouTube, or on our Instagram, or tweet at us. As well as any questions for next week.
Mm-hmm. But just know, if you think the Green Lantern can win in that fight, your opinion is wrong. Nah, just playing. Your opinion,
we want to hear your evidence.
Yeah, your opinion is valid.
We will just see how we can argue.
But yeah, as Brandon said, either in the YouTube comments down below if you're watching on YouTube, or on our Instagram page, or on our Twitter page, do not be afraid to leave a question on any posts. We'll get around. We'll try to answer ones we find. Right now, we don't get a lot of questions, so truth be told, if you post a question, we're probably going to answer it. So yeah, we really appreciate that. Not only that you guys are watching, but you guys are engaging and giving us these questions that we can answer. We enjoy doing them on the currently rare occasion that we do. They're a lot of fun.
Agreed. Well, with that,
I think that's the end of the episode. Yeah.
Agreed. Well, all I can say is happy May 4th to everybody, and may the Force be with you.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, have a good one.
Yep, may the Force be with you.
Peace.